We fight how we train. Now, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why it is that the much bigger, much more technical, faster, stronger Dmitry Bivol wasn't actually able to set up any power punches against his overmatched and overtired foe, Canelo Alvarez. Now, in this routine, I want you to pay attention to how many times he ends an engagement on the front foot. Okay? The reason that this is important is because if you end an engagement on the front foot, it means you ended it with your power hand, your rear hand forward. But Bivol kind of fights in that, I'll say, wants to be in that bladed position here at the end of every engagement, but also at the beginning of every engagement as well, almost. Here, again, initiating from the beginning and then ending either how you want to think about it, with a bladed stance with his left shoulder forward, or ending with a left hand, if you want to think about it more like the way that someone like Floyd Mayweather Sr. teaches it. You end every combination with the left hand to make sure you get back to your boxing stance, right? Now, that's a training drill. Okay, that's something that you learn in the beginning of your boxing to help learn to be safe, right? Because if you end it with the right hand on the front foot and you don't know how to defend that position, you're going to get hit, right? But that's also where all the power from your right hand comes from. Now we're going to take a look at someone who definitely knows how to throw a powerful right hand. On average, Canelo is a pretty good striker, okay? Now when he ends this punch, his weight is on the front foot. Notice there's a bend in his arm. It's not a straight punch, it's a rounded punch. And his head is really close to his target, okay? Canelo Alvarez practices his punch in many, many different ways, okay? Number one, practicing it there. He also practices it here, okay? Now, this is a very important clip for a few reasons as well. I want you to think about what we just saw Bivol doing in his training clip and how he boxes. That's like 100% how he boxes, right? Isn't this exactly how Canelo Alvarez boxes too? He comes forward with one jab or two jabs or three jabs, which would be this left hand here as he takes this step to get his foot to the other side of his target, and then lands a big power punch, right? This is one of the ways that he backs his opponent up. This is one of the things that he was doing. Instead of jabbing at Bivol or probing with his right hand, he would just punch him in the elbow or in the bicep with this punch, right? And then he would get to the front foot, and sometimes he would be here, and he'd be throwing a left hook to control the space once his weight got there. And this is almost exactly how Canelo Alvarez fights, okay? He uses these very similar patterns of movement to close the distance, occupy his opponent, and hope that eventually he's going to land a punch. Notice, this punch here is exactly the punch that he knocked Caleb Plant out with. Almost the exact same sequence. He just brings his weight forward. Caleb Plant either probed or didn't probe, controlled the space or didn't control the space, got caught sitting on the back foot, and then Canelo gave him kind of a leaping left hook. Very similar pattern to this. But this is how Canelo learns to box. He uses his power punches, right? He comes forward with those big punches, as we see here. Control, control. Boom. Big power shot. Almost exactly control, control, as he takes that step into the big right hand. Almost exactly like the clip before, where he's taking that step here. 1, 2. Okay? And it's almost exactly the same. And this is how Canelo Alvarez fights. Now, why does Bivol not have any power? Okay? Well, number one, he does practice power punching sometimes. Okay? Sometimes. Here's going to be a clip here of him practicing it a little bit here. Jumping onto the line, and here's his power punch. It's kind of similar, right, to Canelo Alvarez's. Kind of similar. But notice when he throws it, he doesn't end with his weight here. He makes sure to have some room in his talent, in his technique, to bounce off the line. Again, not ending the sequence on the front foot. So he's not actually getting all his weight into it. He's only getting his weight as he crosses the line into it. Nothing further to drive weight or add power, because he stays on rhythm and stays on beat here. There are also a couple of other really good clips we're going to take a look at too. I think it's this one. This one's kind of... Okay, so here he is again, practicing it. And look at how wide he gets. Very unusual for Bivol. No pendulum step in front of it. Okay, this part's very important too. Notice Canelo doesn't always pendulum, but the motion looks very similar. Okay, but getting really wide and adding this big overhand right. Now, when he throws this punch, it looks weird to see Bivol throw this punch. Why? Well, because when he's on the pads with his coach, he doesn't ever practice that punch. He always practices it with the intention of getting his weight to the back foot. There's no place in his routine for this punch to be added with power. Okay? It always has the intention of him saving space to throw his left hook. And we're going to take some looks at the actual fight as well. But notice, nowhere in here does he end that punch on the front foot with a big, powerful shot. Always dragging his weight to the back foot. Again, exactly how he fights. Now, real quick, we're going to take a look at this clip. And this is one that I talked about in the beginning of the fight, or in the beginning of the film study, where I said that Bivol could not knock Canelo out, but I also didn't think he could win a decision because Canelo. Not because Canelo's going to knock him out and he can't go 12 rounds, but because he'd get robbed. But the way that he practices this move, he doesn't get into a position. Notice how he's going to be here and he pendulum steps here, and now he gets to here. He doesn't throw that shot as a powerful right hand. He throws it, again, to save space for his left hook. Okay? Now, this is very, very, very important because that means that when he pendulums onto his opponent, he doesn't get this close to them, right? Because Canelo can't really throw a great left hook from here, right? He could throw a good left hook to the body, but it might take him a second to get his footing, his balance, so that he can be able to throw an excellent left hook because he threw so much of his weight in this beat into this right hand. Now, Bivol doesn't really do that because he perceives it to be a disadvantage. But being able to fight on both sides of the line is a massive advantage, and it's one of the reasons why Canelo does have a shot to win the rematch. Even though this fight wasn't particularly close, he has a lot of space to grow, okay? And with his style, you know, it's very flexible, whereas, again, we can see here how Canelo, or how Bivol trains on the pads is very limiting for the weights that allow him to set up his big right hands. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some of these clips here of Bivol actually pendulum stepping on his opponent and not getting any good offense. So he's going to jab here, and now he's going to jab here, bring his weight to the front foot, and now he's going to throw this left hook here, and he's going to add his pendulum step to this here, okay? Boom. Now, you can't really tell, but watch his front foot when he throws the left hand. Notice that there's a kind of slight little slide, okay? That allows him to reposition himself so that he can get into position to throw that right hand better. So his pendulum step is to set up his long right hand, as we can see here, as he small pendulum with this left hook here. Sorry, the clip is so short, it kind of freezes sometimes. But that small little pendulum step off the left hook here, boom, sets up the long right hand, not the overhand right that he was practicing on the bags. Okay? Now again, that's because he has to save space again to continue attacking the line with the left hand. And again, we're going to take a look at a few more clips as well. What clip is this? Come on. That's not the right one. Is it this one? So here he is again, getting on the front foot. 1, 2, and now, when you're on the front foot, you're supposed to throw the left hand when you pendulum step and shift your weight all the way to the back foot so you can throw a big right hand. But again, he throws it and he steps, and you can see him pendulum step, and look at his front foot when he throws the left hand. It's going to take a step. When he does this move, he's supposed to shift his weight to the back foot. But again, Bivol being kind of a front foot fighter, he doesn't really make space. But he also doesn't try to set up an opportunity to throw a big right hand because of the way that he trains on the mitts. Again, not any time in this routine is the focus sitting in the position to throw a big right hand. They're almost all straight right hands and used to box or set up this left hook that he uses to step off the line, or that pull counter motion, or that roll off the line that he was using. But at no point, right? Even here, right? Using it to set up the left hook, but using those straight punches to set up other moves, not to add power to them, right? Not ever allowing them to be the final move in the sequence. And again, that's why there were so many times in the fight where Bivol would be sitting on the ropes with Canelo and not allowing him to leave for free, but not engaging him either, but also with the control that he could get with the feinting and the probing and the speed that he has over Canelo, he wasn't able to set up a pendulum step because he doesn't actually want to get that close to his opponent, because then that stops him from being able to throw his left hand. Now, here's another sequence here. He's going to throw that pendulum step here. Again, and this is how he uses it, right? This is one of the only times where he did that move, and he does a good job of opening up space and going to the body, right? And notice when he throws those shots when he's on the bag, he throws them very low. He never throws them at the head. He never throws them rounded, and he always throws them in a way to save space for him to be able to throw that left hand. Again, never ending a sequence on the front foot, right? Always ending on the back foot. In this sequence here, boom, 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 ending on the back foot. Boom, boom, ending on the back foot. I think... Now, we do have a couple more clips. One more clip here. Here he is again, not really setting up big right hands, but always trying to end the sequences on the back foot, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then off the line, boom, off the line on the back foot, and ending the sequence with the left hand. Again, never looking to unload into that punch and make it harder, but looking to keep on beat, to keep his weight out of that zone, right, and traveling back to the back foot as often as possible. Now again, look at when he throws this right hand. Look at how far away it is. Boom. And then look at how close the left hook gets. Not necessarily that there's anything wrong with that, but again, we can see that there's no emphasis on him just using that right hand as a power punch. It's always to set up and get into position to pendulum and throw the left hook too. Again, one of the reasons why he doesn't get into position is because there's no space for him to practice that I don't want to say goofy overhand right, but there's no space for him to practice that move and end his attacks on the front foot with his coach. Okay, his coach always wants him to leave on the front foot. And again, in boxing, you don't always do that. Sometimes you are going to end that engagement on the front foot because you know what your opponent's going to be doing already. You know what they're going to be looking to attempt to do. And it's going to be safe to be there for that beat or that rhythm. But again, the pace and the rhythm that his coach sets, it's what helps him be successful here against Canelo, gave him that speed, the ability to get on and off the line, right? Constantly practicing his boxing in and out and in and out. But some of the things and some of the patterns in here prevent him from being able to continue to develop, right? And again, if you notice in this routine here with his coach, when does he pendulum step forward off of a right hand? When does he take an angle and shift forward and get really close here? Right? Off of that move so that he can set up a big overhand right. Never. Right? Again, we can see that Bivol wants to practice those things on the bag, but he doesn't have, he doesn't have the confidence or the understanding of where to place them in his routine here with his coach. And his coach is not giving him a place to add them as well. Now, with that said, the irony is that Canelo doesn't really practice the boxing part, right? He practices the jumping onto the line and throwing the big, powerful punch, but he doesn't practice getting off the line. So he doesn't have a lot of the tricks, right? It also takes him a lot of energy to initiate his pull counters, a lot of athleticism. You know, he can't freely flow into them like Bivol here, right? Notice the stark difference between those pull counters that Canelo throws and uses, and how freely and fluidly Bivol's on the line, boom, 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 because of the way that he practices and manages his weight with the boxing. So anyway, just thought I'd like to share with you guys. For more film studies, again, there's more film studies on Patreon. There's the Full Fight Film Study. I talk a lot of shit, watch a lot of fights. I'm probably going to be watching Canelo versus Bivol again. even on Patreon because it's pretty fun. But if you're also looking for personalized one-on-one coaching, check out my Patreon. I will study your training here, and I will teach you what you need to improve on. I will give you the drills to work on. I will show you how to do them, so you can grow and become the fighter that you want to be. Also, don't forget to check out, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to check out my What is Boxing video. It should be in the end screen here. It kind of teaches you all the facets of technical boxing, of getting on the line, off the line, crossing the line, transitioning your weight, getting power in your punches. It's kind of a, I don't want to say a basic tutorial, but it's kind of a masterclass tutorial introduction of what boxing really is, from my perspective and how I see it, and how I teach it. It's about a 1 hour video to kind of teach positions, to kind of teach. It's a really cool video. Check it out. And if you want to learn how to fight, and you want to learn the easiest way to learn the drills and learn the timing and learn the speed and learn the, check out the Fouts Boxing Combat System. It will teach you how to get in position to land all your most powerful punches. Okay? It's just the ultimate guide to learn pendulum boxing, to learn how to gain speed and power and momentum and fluidity. Yeah, check it out. Links in the description. And if you want personalized private coaching and you sign up, you get a 50% discount on the Fouts Boxing Combat System. You'll also get a free 30-minute double-in bag / Cobra bag seminar where I'll teach you how to do all those pendulum steps. I'll teach you how to control it, teach you how to build power, teach you how to build momentum in your training, teach you how to fight using the double-in bag, and you'll be able to transition or translate all that stuff directly into your heavy bag, your shadow boxing work. You'll see how a massive difference in your understanding, especially if you watch the Fouts Boxing What is Boxing video. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share the videos. Yeah, thanks guys.